All right, we're streaming.
Oh,
No one's in the room because they don't have the link.
can you post the link for me? I guess the rest of us too.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
can
have
do
to get
that.
just
Oh
to
wait,
me.
no. I've got the link. Allie got the link. I don't know. That doesn't work on mine usually. Usually I don't get to do both. Okay, so I can get you the link by doing this. There's the link. Andy never responded to the last call. I hope they're ready.
We'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Might be taking a nap or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've definitely done that. I've definitely laid in bed and set an alarm for 5 minutes before we're supposed to start.
Yes.
So,
Ba.
how's the new place?
It's pretty good. This is my first time recording. I feel like, all right, I'm looking at Audacity, and for some reason, my right channel seems to be coming in a little bit stronger than my left channel.
Huh, that's bizarre.
It's
So
very weird.
what you could what you can check is if you check on your mixer, in the move it might have just gotten knocked. There's the balance knob.
Yeah, it's set in the middle.
So what you can do if you want, yeah, you can just adjust for that, and probably what it is just a problem with it's either a problem with, I mean, obviously it's either a problem with Audacity or the mic or the mixer. It's somewhere. It's one of those. And it'll probably fix itself if you want right now, real quick, to just unplug your mic and plug it back in, see if that works first.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
And if it doesn't, then don't worry about it, because worst case scenario, we can always just set it to be a mono track.
Boop boop boop.
How's
Oh,
that?
that actually seemed to did it.
That fixed it? All right, there you go.
Yep.
Look at me, still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah, that's definitely happened to me before. So, the other thing that helps sometimes is just resetting the mic. Just even though it's recognizing your mic as the right mic, just going in and telling it this is the mic, and it kind of sort of resets itself.
This is the mic.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Andy, what's going on?
Not much. How about you guys? How are you?
I'm pretty good.
No.
Gonna just do a little bit of hosting.
Yeah. Put that hosting cap on.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm a natural host.
And put up curtains today. That was a pain in the ass. Don't put up curtains.
Yeah, man, doing house stuff is it's a lot of you just gotta let it fucking roll off your back. Everything's a problem, right? There's nothing you'll ever do on a house that's gonna go smoothly, or if it does, it's the exception. So it's just man, I just gotta not be frustrated or always be frustrated, you know?
Yeah.
Yo.
Hey, the best thing that's happened so far was while we were putting the TV mount up, as I was drilling something into the wall, all the power went out, and I was convinced that I had broken our house.
Oh boy.
And it wasn't. It was the local electric company was just doing work.
Just
somewhere.
bad timing.
Yeah.
Suspicious
it was
timing.
the worst coincidence. But for the 45 seconds it took for the power to come back on, I was losing my mind.
Yeah. I just, something that I've tried to really incorporate into my daily life is I was watching a video of this guy, and it was just a YouTube video where someone's just doing something and teaching you how to do something. It was one of those. In the middle of the video, he broke one of his tools, and was just very calmly it was two guys. One guy broke something, and then the other guy immediately was just sometimes things break, and they just moved on. And I was yeah, sometimes things do break. been a really
It's very
healthy
true.
attitude for me.
Yeah.
How are you, Allie?
Fine. Thanksgiving was fine.
That's a relief.
I'm keyboardless once again.
Oh no.
Well, Allie, sometimes things break.
While I was moving, I found a second keyboard. Should I send you this keyboard?
Maybe. I'm
I will
like-
send you this keyboard. It's
I
not a
was
problem.
I was like, I'm gonna get the same keyboard that I lost, and then I was like, this keyboard's like very fragile apparently,
Mhm.
and also not the best keyboard to have. So I was like looking at other stuff, and then I was talking to Keith about it because and then I like just went down a hole. I ended up like looking at like like craft like hobbyist like custom made
Oh,
like
God.
mechanical keyboard keys. I saw a really horrible one. If y'all want to see it,
Yes, God.
it's a
Absolutely.
little not safe for
Absolutely.
work. It's it's not great.
How much anime boobies are on this keyboard you're about to send?
Exactly 3.
Okay. All right. That's not the number I was expecting. Oh.
Yeah, someone made that to put on their keyboard to have whatever they want. They're like, they're
Probably the most
extremely into
iconic
keyboards.
boobies in cinema.
See,
That's what they said.
Um,
Oh wait, are you reading the thing?
This is literally in the description of the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Sorry, I thought that you also had the idea that those were probably the most iconic boobies in cinema.
If you need a little reminder, check it out. Here's a YouTube link.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
You
made
wanna
these 3.
see?
I made the.
TGI
I
titties?
made. I made 3 boobs that blocked the escape key. If you don't know why, here's a YouTube video.
I'm going to look because I'm going to be surprised if there's like bare ass boobs on YouTube. You're not
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to
no, there
have-
totally are. Yeah, if it's in a movie,
yeah.
yeah, you totally can do it. You can do that for sure. We're live, by the way. I
Oh,
don't know
there's
if you-
there's stars
Oh,
over the
good.
boobs, so it's censored.
Okay. Well, Patreon's doing maintenance at not now.
Oh, good.
November 27th, so we're fine. Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm gonna close my door to the.
I've got All right, so here's the thing. It's not showing it on OBS, but on the YouTube, it's definitely showing a little sliver of black on the side there. How
It is.
how bad do we feel like I should just fix that right now? It's not a problem.
We can.
Yeah, I'll
we
just
have
fix
a little
it.
bit of just chill time.
Right.
Also, can you change that to September?
Is it? Oh my!
It's
Oh, we want to be like we want to pretend like we're not just gonna do November 2. It's like a bit that you want to do. Like, do you want me to pretend that it's September? Because I'll do it.
Yeah, Keith, how is your back to school shopping going?
It's really my back to school shopping was
That
really
LL Bean backpack.
yeah Labine yeah. Is it not Labine?
No,
think
No,
it's Levine.
LL Bean.
Is it not Labine?
no, it's like Cool J.
Okay, I'm just gonna.
Ladies love Bean.
Yeah.
Okay, so
By
for
the
what-
way, there's no I in my last name while we're giving tips on the first slide.
wait, what are we doing?
There's no I in my last name.
Oh, is there not?
No, it's okay. Literally everyone does that. 'cause
I
that's how the
swear-
name should be spelled.
I swear that I've seen it with an L. It might have been just someone else getting it wrong, and I was like, well, that's obviously how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you spell the human like first name.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Good times.
Anything else that you guys wanna
Oh, I
fucking
should hit
nitpick
record.
on, huh?
Keith, I
Oh,
think you're
my
doing a
name's
great
spelled
job.
wrong. It's actually September. Give me a break. Okay, so I'm actually just for whatever reason it's like it was like no, we're never going to fix this black sliver. Like I
wow.
definitely like it's definitely not in the OBS, so I think it might be just something wrong with the way it was being captured. So I'm gonna try to capture it just a different way. Can I full screen the slideshow? Is that something I can do?
I think so.
I think so.
How do I do that?
It's been a while since I've used the Google.
Yo, anybody know
Slides.
how to full screen in the chat? Anybody know how to full screen a Google Google slideshow?
Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can.
What?
Can you just send us the slideshow like in the Patreon chat? Can you like?
Do you want it?
pop a link? Yeah, I do. I would like to see it.
Whatever. Listen, this is run button host style. I don't give a shit.
Oh boy.
I was gonna be all
apparently I need
professional,
to
but
ask for
apparently
access
not.
to this.
Oh, is that not? I can do. Okay, get shareable link. That's fine. Just ignore that. Get shareable link. Here we go. I'm just gonna. Here, new link is there. It works now.
Okay.
Bazinga.
Bazinga.
Do you still need to know how to full screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is like not clear how to do it.
I think it's view and present.
View,
Oh,
present.
there's also full screen under view as well.
Oh yeah. See,
But
look at that.
It keeps the
Oh.
grid on the side though.
Yeah, view and present looks like the thing that I want. And then now it's full screen, so I should be able to just window capture and then not do anything. Add, or, yeah, window capture.
Free wrapping paper from Go Eating Cambria.
Excuse me.
Free wrapping only today?
Wait,
Is it Coheed and Cambria wrapping paper?
I'm checking. Sorry, I'm
Covered
looking
in
at my-
dead wives.
Oh. It is. It
I
is.
calls it like I sees it, you know?
It is. Sorry, I was looking through my spam email.
Okay,
See
all right.
all of those.
I want
Okay.
everybody to know that we are streaming. I'm capturing it full screen, and it's still got that little black sliver. So I think it's not
Wow.
me. I'm pretty
It's
sure
time
that
to move on.
yeah, it's time to
not.
move on. I'm gonna try real quick stretch to screen, but that didn't do anything. So
I cannot find a picture of this wrapping paper. What's the point?
I'm gonna look on their website. Oh well, the tweet from their official Twitter goes to a dead URL, so that's not good.
are they okay? Are you sure?
No,
The weird thing is,
no.
Can I tell you something? I know Allie, you love this band. I don't know who else loves this band.
I love them.
Can I tell you
I'm
something
okay-
for
I
real?
like this band. Okay.
Can I tell you something about this band?
Yeah, please.
The way that some people hate the word moist, I hate the words Coheed and Cambria together. it's like
Okay.
there's something just like orally repulsive about it. I just hate it.
Is it in association with the band, or you were like?
No, I don't
"Oh,
know
that's
anything
fine,
about the
but
band. No,
they
no,
should
not
have
in
a
association with the
different-"
band
Yeah,
at all. No, this is zero judgment on the band. There is just something about the way that those words sound that I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. Do we want to do a time.is?
I would love to. It's gonna take me a second. I don't have.
Do you want us to link it and you can just click it?
No, I'm good. Okay. What time?
I'm gonna. I need to mail you this keyboard.
I swear that the okay, there we go. Great.
15.
Okay.
It was a little messy. It was a little sloppy.
Mm,
That's fine. Do you want to do it? Yeah, it's whatever. Who cares?
It's fine.
It's
We're
fine. Yeah. Listen, I know how lining up the claps works. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right. Are we starting? Are we good?
We're good.
All right.
Throw to
Great.
Keith.
What?
Yeah.
Throw to
I
me?
said
Okay,
throw to
let's do
Keith,
it.
yeah.
All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to Tips at the Table, an RPG podcast focused on critical questions, hopefully smart answers, and fun interaction between good friends. I am your host, Keith J. Carberry. You can find me on Twitter at Keith J. Carberry or the Let's Plays that I do at youtube.com/runbutton. With me today is Alicia Akampora.
Hi, you can find me at Allie_West on Twitter, or you can find us over at friends_table.
Andy Clare.
Hi, I'm Andy. You can find me on Twitter at Captain Trash, and you can find my other show, Emoji Drome, on iTunes or Google Play.
Andrew Lee Swan.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter at Swandre3000.
All right, so it's September, and everyone knows it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're doing the tips for September.
How was everyone's summer?
Oh, I think it was good. I'm having a hard time remembering.
How are you liking the leaves changing?
Honestly, the colder weather gets me a little bit down. I would much prefer it to stay where it's at now in the mid 70s to mid 80s.
I'm really worried about the time change and it becoming darker in 2
Oh,
months.
yeah.
I'm scared of Halloween because that's when the ghosts show up.
Oh,
and
it's the
that's 3
scariest
months.
day of the year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a month from now. We got to get ready.
Uh-huh.
All right, do you want to start with the questions?
Yeah, we should.
Sure.
Okay, because of the way that I had to do this, I don't have the titles, but I'm sure that we can get the gist from the actual questions. This is from Be Old. Hi, table friends. I'm starting to get really bummed out because it seems that every campaign I start fizzles out after 1 or 2 sessions, no matter how excited my players are. This might have to do with how all of my games so far have been online over Discord and Roll20, but even when I specifically play with close friends whose schedules line up with mine, no one seems excited to play anymore. I GM whenever I offer to start a new game because I know I'm not that good at it and I don't want to be like, play a game with me, and then turn around and go, but you have to do all the work. And the only way to get better is to do it a bunch. But when my group disperses before we ever find our footing in a world or situation, I feel like I haven't learned anything new and I just wasted a bunch of my friends' time. Basically, I'm newish at GMing, and I'm having trouble keeping my players' interest up long enough to keep a game going for more than a few sessions. What should I do? Should I just try to be a player for a little longer to figure out what I would want out of a session? Or what I would want out of a session? Anybody have any opening thoughts?
Well,
It's a bummer.
It's hard. Like I've been in this situation a few times as well.
As a player?
As both, no, as like a GM, a new GM, trying to like get a session going and having it fizzle out. And it's tough. And what
Yeah.
I kind of figured out was, one, sometimes it's just the group doesn't work out because scheduling a tabletop game is a nightmare that no one should ever have to do.
But what about when you specifically play with close friends whose schedules line up?
Well, I missed that specific part. It's a long question, and it's 9 p.m. on a September evening.
A beautiful September evening, by the way. It's like 72, and nice breeze.
gorgeous.
I think the thing is, you got to talk to your players to figure out what their goals are for the campaign and figure out the tone you want to. Because that's another problem that I've run into is I have one tone in mind. And then, for example, a friend of mine comes back to me and says, hey, my character's rival in our cyberpunk game is what if the cyborg ninja from Metal Gear was also a clown? And I'm like, well, I've constructed an entire conspiracy here, but I'll try and fit him in, which obviously is not the same, but it is definitely good to get on that same page, and that will typically help with keeping the flow going, and it'll help with having communication being open as well.
Yeah, I also think, like, so it does say, so it seems like Be Old has tried a few different times, and a few different times it's always lasted at least a few sessions. And so, like, I think maybe write a short campaign that's only a few sessions, and that way you get to the end of it. And, like, whether or not you end up being happy with how it went, at least, like, getting to the end, you get to be like, oh, I now have the experience of starting and finishing a campaign. Like, I think there's an idea of tabletop games, and, like, Friends of the Table, I think, doesn't do a ton to dispel this, like, impression. But there's like this, like, when I grew up, I always heard of people that had like 10-year-long campaigns, you know, and like campaigns just would go on for months and months and months, and it's like, oh, we started as worms, and 10 years later we have nothing left to do but kill all the gods, and it's like, okay, this is crazy. You can just have a session that lasts 1 or 2 like a game that lasts 1 or 2 sessions. Like there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, totally. I think my thing for this with this question is like there's a lot of like I don't know if it's like a scheduling issue or if it's a problem with me being a GM. And like I think in that case like taking some of these systems that you really want to play with your friends and like putting them on the back burner and like trying to play more like GM-less stuff might be better.
Yeah, Allie, you have experience playing an RPG, doing like role playing that now has lasted like years and years and years and years. Like, do you have any like? Do you ever go through a period of where it feels like it might fizzle out, and like what gets you out of that sort of feeling, if you have?
Typically it's always just a scheduling thing or like we're busy or like the like to get to like a different part of the story we have to like go through this thing and we'd rather just be at point B instead of having to deal with point A. It's tough because a lot of the suggestions I have are like if you've been playing for a long time and like you're losing the magic or whatever, here's some things that you can change. But like in terms of like not being able to get anything off of like the ground floor, that's a bummer. I think that like planning things that will be like only 2 or 3 or 4 sessions or whatever. Just I immediately went to 4, but like 2 or 3 is also fine.
Sorry, 2 or 3 what?
Just 2 or 3 sessions. Like
Oh,
this
okay.
is,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
play this game, and you know we're gonna make these characters, but we know that it's gonna be kind of finite in this way. Might be like a good way to kind of get your confidence before you're like planning these big things that are gonna last a really long time.
Yeah.
Does D&D still make those like the like pre-packaged like?
Oh, they would never
one-shots?
stop selling those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean that might be like yeah, I think that might be a good like both like Ali was saying. I think having something that's like contained and short, and then if you are kind of nervous as a newer GM, like just having like stuff there so you don't always have to make everything up. It's not all on you.
Another thing about those one shots that I do appreciate is like the one shot is there for you to play through it. Like they give you the whole thing and they're like, okay, now go do it. But the I think the strongest thing about those one shots is that like they're not watching you, so you can actually just do it whatever you want with them. Like nobody, like you're not gonna get someone from Wizards of the Coast being like, you changed our one shot. Like, and I bet even a lot of the people that write those are looking for people to mess with them. So like you could always, something that I did when I first started GMing was I would take a one shot and I would like keep the combat encounters and I would change like pretty much everything else about them, because the combat encounters were my least favorite thing to do as a GM. I didn't mind. It's not that I didn't mind playing through them. I just didn't want to come up with them. So you could always take a one shot and change it, or take a short campaign and like a pre-written short campaign and change it. And I want to go back to Andy's point and like double highlight it. You could also like, it sounds like you have a lot of friends that are willing to play tabletop games with you, which is nuts to me. And it sounds like you're in a really good position, and they keep wanting to come back, so they're at least having fun and are excited about the idea. But it could just be that like you all have different ideas about what you want to be doing in the minute, and maybe just like double checking that you're all on the same page on like the types of game that you want to be playing. Any last thoughts on this one? No? All right, let's move on. All right, from Skylar Watchell.
Uh-huh.
I'm just waiting for someone to know how to say that better than me.
Whacktel.
Whacktel from Skylar.
Wachtel's probably.
I started GMing at my local game store for some great new friends. One of them has been rolling, quickly putting his hand down and changing it to a 17 to 20. I've watched him do it, but I haven't said anything because I remember you saying that players need authorship in this story too. So I've been trying to think about this positively. But now some of the other players are getting suspicious and making comments. I would hate to call them out and make them feel excluded, but I don't want my other players to feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. What's your opinion on fudging dice rolls? Austin and friends. Austin's not here. That's fine. Thanks for so much of the great content. First impressions, I had an immediate first impression to this and then kind of reconsidered. So I want to hear what other people's immediate thoughts were.
Send them to dice jail.
Yeah. My immediate first thought to this is like players definitely need authorship in the story. Like changing dice rolls is not the way to that.
Yeah, that's not what authorship is. I think that was my first impression, and I think we should talk about like this part of it before I say any of the other weirdo thoughts that I had. But it is like authorship, like that's the thing about playing a role-playing game is you've got the GM and you've got the players and they all should have authorship, but they also should all be making decisions based on the dice that they roll. And like the GM is rolling dice and all the players are rolling dice. And so changing your dice rolls is not authorship, but it's like denying authorship. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, I've definitely gotten into situations, and it's probably on recording somewhere, where I've been like, okay, but can't we just do house rules, or like, can't we like, is a rule really that important? And Austin's answer is always yes, and I'm always really frustrated by that. But I get it, because like, you're there to play a game at the end of the day, and like, the structure around those things is what is going to keep making it interesting and like equal playing field for everybody.
Yeah.
The flip side of this is like, and I don't want it to, I don't want to say this in a way that sounds like mean, but like
no, do it in a mean way. That's fine.
Yeah.
Something with the GM where it feels like we're like, that person should be just as interested in their character's failures as they should be in their successes.
Yeah, sure.
And like, that's not all on the GM. Like, y'all should definitely have like a pull aside, a conversation about this where it's like, you know, I know you're nervous about failing or whatever. Maybe you really wanted to do this thing, but like, if you had failed, something else cool could have happened, and we could have found a way to like, you know, make sure that you did that cool fire spell, or like, you know, or triumph it in some other way. But like, you can't just put your hand down.
Yeah, right. And just like roll, like, nah, it's 18. We all saw it say, no, it said 18.
You pulled out a marker and wrote an 8 next to the 1 you rolled.
Yeah, you wrote a 1 next to every number on this D20. So like your 1 became an 11, but your 18 became 118. That's not even real. Come on, Derek. Jesus Christ.
Derek,
what are you doing?
I'm going to amend my first answer of send in the dice jail and say basically what Allie said. Like, talk to them individually. I would like to believe this person's doing this because they don't want to fail. Because, like, failing a dice roll feels bad. And, like, especially if you're in a group and it's like, oh, but if I fail this roll, I'm going to fuck over the whole group and I'm going to be the person that lets the whole team down. Like, so, yeah.
So
don't actually send them to dice jail.
Here's my weirdo second. Here's my devil's advocate hot take, right?
Okay.
Ooh.
So you're cheating in a game, and technically, let's like for like obviously everybody's investing their time in a game, and it's important because everybody at the table is making it important. But this person decides that they want to cheat. And I think that it's only as wrong as the people that want to call him out on it make it. And so it sounds like people are getting suspicious and do not like it. But it's like, if you want to run a game where someone's cheating and everyone kind of knows it and everyone kind of plays along, I don't know, that's fine by me, right? Like, that's not, like, you decided on your own that that you didn't think it was that big a deal that this player was changing. And if no one else ever noticed and it didn't bother you, then I don't know, whatever, right?
Attached to this devil's advocate thing, Dan Brockman makes a comment in the chat that like the one frustrating thing with D&D is that sometimes a failure just means that like it's going to take so much longer because it's just like a fight or whatever. And if it's like that, then it's fine. But like
we
with
technically don't know that this is D&D, so it could be like
True.
a game that has like more nuanced rules than D&D does.
Yeah.
But it's also GMing a game at a local store, so it probably is D&D.
Also, most D20 stuff runs similar. At least, like in my limited experience when I played D20 stuff, it's similar enough to D&D.
Yeah, it's
in some
definitely like an
cases that
older
we can at
school
least talk
style
about it
that
like
D&D
that.
draws from to be like a D20 game.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how to like. The thing is, I think what's going on, like we kind of touched on it, is that the person doing this is probably just really scared to mess up. Like I've been there. I've also haven't done this on the show. This is when I was 10 years old. I
Yeah,
used to
it's
do this.
impossible for
So
us
I
to cheat because we use
understand.
Roll20.
Yeah, we can't do it. We use Roll20.
A machine
it's
does all our
impossible
dice
for me to
rolling.
lie. But like I get the nervousness there because you've got like, depending on the group, like 3 or 4 other people who are like hoping you don't do that. So like talk to them and be like, don't worry. I'm like, because the thing that I find like that I really like with Friends of the Table is that I've never felt worried about, like I've always felt like the GM and the other players as well are like safety nets for me. So if I fuck up, something will happen in the campaign, but I trust them that it's not going to be a thing that just makes me feel bad. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's more just like assuring this person that like
Yeah.
rolling under a 10 isn't the end of the world, and it could honestly lead to some cool stuff happening for your character.
And but that's a good point. Like that's another reason why cheating in tabletop games does happen, because like there are a lot of bad GMs out there, and this is part of what Dan was saying in the chat. There are a lot of bad GMs out there that like make rolling bad. The consequence is like rolling well means having fun, and rolling bad means not having fun. Like the concept, like there's a lot of GMs, and it's not, individual GM's fault. A lot of it has to do with like the evolution of these games and where the most popular games are at in terms of like how they deal with failure, and then just like the culture surrounding those games. But like a lot of times when you mess up, like it literally is just not fun, whether it's things take longer, or it's just like oh, this consequence means that we've got to like that just like everything sucks and we're not having fun anymore, and like we've got a GM that is looking to kill their players. Like there is a lot of tabletop role-playing games where failure does suck, and I think that is like I don't know, like maybe either directly or indirectly communicating to this person that like that's not what this table is about, and failure isn't a problem, and it can be fun and interesting, and it doesn't just mean like okay, now we have like less fun for the next half, or like oh, someone heard us open this door, so now we have to do 45 minutes of combat that none of us wanted to do. And like
that's literally happened to me.
Yeah, I know, it sucks, right? And then it's always like 45 minutes of combat that's like right before the 45 minutes of scheduled combat, and so now you're doing an hour and a half of combat, and it's like, okay, we've been here for 4 hours, and 3 hours of it was fighting guards. Like, what? Guards for what? Like, I don't know, guards. So, like, take it easy on cheaters. There's a reason that people are cheating. I don't know. Sometimes people are just cheaters. But, do whatever you feel is the right thing to do. If other people at your table seem like they're not comfortable with it, then definitely bring it up.
Yeah, this definitely deserves a pull aside, at least. Because, we've, guessed at what some motivations here could be. But, talking to the person and being like, why are you doing this? You should probably stop.
Yeah.
And finding out, is it, an issue of, dynamics with the other players? Or, character stuff is going to be important. And we'll make the game better. And, so on.
Yeah. And maybe he's not cheating. Maybe he just likes tapping the table. Okay, moving on.
It's a good luck thing. That's why the rolls are so good.
This is from Sean. Dear Tips of the Table, long-time listener. This is actually, I think, a similar question in a couple ways. Dear Tips of the Table, long-time listener, first-time tips questioner. My gaming group is extremely reluctant to incorporate mechs into our fairly stock D&D 5e campaign. How do I convince them that it's perfectly viable application of a gnome's tinker ability? Follow-up question to my real question, any advice on how to deal with rules lawyers / buzzkills? Sincerely, Mechless in Miami. I'm not really from Miami. Sean.
Where are you from, Sean? What are you
Yeah,
hiding?
where are you? What are you hiding?
Could be
Where
Mechless
are
in
you
Minneapolis.
Yeah, that would be funny if it was a
M.
different M place.
Yeah,
Or
Um,
Minnehaha?
Mechless in Manchester.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
ooh,
Yeah.
by the sea.
Mechless and Mechless by the Sea and Manchester by the Sea. In September. All right. Anybody have some for this? I can share my immediate first impression.
Please, because I have a feeling it's kind of similar to mine.
Yeah.
I don't listen to your table, man. There's no
Yeah.
like. I think that you have a legitimate argument that is I want mechs in my fantasy campaign. Gnomes have a tinker thing and they do weird machine stuff and they should be able to have mechs if I want them to have mechs. But it sounds like if everybody at your table is like, no, that's not the kind of world that we want to make. Like maybe they're wrong, maybe you're wrong. It doesn't matter, but it's like it just sounds like you should be trying to make the game that the people in your party want to do. And it sounds like that's where you started. You started being like, should we have gnomes with mechs? And everybody said no. But that I think that just means that like you gotta go with what everybody else wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, like if you are a person who likes to be more flexible with the rules, I feel like everything I say on this is talk to your GM. But hey, guys, communication between friends is really important.
Yeah.
Something I've learned this year. Just throwing that out there. That you didn't come here for that tip, but there it is. But like talk to them and the group as a whole and be like, what stuff are we willing to bend on and what stuff are we not? Because like there's probably other things that like I guess there's other rules. I was gonna say rule laws, but that's the same word twice.
You know,
there's other, I'm sure there's other like elements that people are willing to like bring in stuff that you find interesting. Like maybe not mechs, but maybe you can get like a cool like Dr. Octopus backpack.
I just had a thought, and like for like literally no reason, I assumed that Sean was the GM. But there's nothing here that says that, and it even kind of sounds like they're playing a gnome, and their GM is who's saying, "Don't know you can't use the tinker ability to have a mech."
Yeah.
So maybe I have to amend my statement, which is like, if I feel like if you're not the GM, then like the GM saying no is less of a reason to get shut down than if you're the GM and the rest of the table saying no. So I don't know if that changes it for anybody. I don't know why I assume that Sean was the GM. If Sean is in there, let me know if you're the GM or not.
All right, let me do some rules lawyering here because I just looked up the Tinker move.
Okay.
And
great.
the Tinker move says you can use your tools to construct a tiny clockwork device that only
Okay.
functions for 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That's not a mech.
my initial response to this is like I like to be a rule breaker. I like to have house rules. So I'm immediately like, you should just do it, like whatever. Like when I look at D&D rules or if I like hear people playing D&D, sometimes I think of like how kind of setting agnostic some of that stuff can be. And it's like if you have Tinker, it's a machine, you could just do it. They should just let you do it. But like I do also get that like it could be a tone thing. The players don't really want to go in that direction with the setting or whatever, and that's like also a completely legitimate feeling.
Gnomes are wicked setting breaking, and like anytime they show up, they're always doing this.
I feel no, sorry. I just feel like if your desire to like have mechs in this game is like a solid block of ice, it might be worth kind of like chiseling down what you really kind of want out of that, and like what
Mhm.
it means for your character, and like what kind of thing that you want, or like what kind of ability, or like
Yeah.
how you can imagine him kind of using it, and seeing if you can kind of scale it down.
Well, I do
Um,
think Dre is right. I think that like um a mech does not sound like a viable application of the Gnome's Tinker ability. And so
no.
if you can't, and I guess this is sort of both what Dre said and what Ali said, if you have to go with mechs, I think that you should like really reconsider the idea that the Gnome's Tinker ability is the way to get there, because it sounds like it's not. And if everybody agreed, like, yeah, we can do Gnome Tinker mech, then that's fine. But it seems like that's not what's happening. And so if there is another way to get, like, figure out some way that actually does feel like it could work through the rules, whether that's like, I don't know, you're in command of a mech elemental, or like a rock elemental in the shape of a
Yeah.
mech, like, or just some
Right.
other thing, or like a big animal, like a familiar that you can ride. Like, there's other ways to get to where you want. If the people that you're playing with are set on playing by the written rules, which is not a crazy way to play a game. But
It
like,
isn't.
try to find a different avenue, because Gnome's Tinker ability says it has 2 words in there: tiny and 24 hours.
Mhm.
So they're not wrong.
Yeah, I do have a free suggestion, which is like maybe your character could like have this mech that isn't active all the time, and they can like make a piece of it, and it can like power on for just the 24 hours. That's like a whole character thing about how he has this mech that sometimes he like sets up. I don't know. I don't know your character. I don't know the setting, but
Yeah.
like you can like scale it down and still be like, oh, I have this cool robot. But yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
just ask if you can do a different game also. Just like be
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of games with mechs out there.
yeah, there's a
We've
ton of
done
games
some.
that have mechs in them. Or even just ask to do like a one shot in a weird fantasy sci-fi world where gnomes have mechs.
yeah.
And then you get to have the mech stuff out of your system.
Play World of Warcraft,
Don't play World of Warcraft.
but Gnome's got mechs in there.
Don't play World of Warcraft.
Don't play World of
Yeah,
Warcraft.
you're right. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, we're right. From Casey. Hi, friends. You all have mentioned previously how you will make playlists or pregame routines or any number of things that help you get into the headspace of your characters before you play. I implemented some of these methods myself, but as the perception of my character changed and as that character themselves developed, I began to find these routines strange. I wasn't sure I was getting it right. I felt like I was trying to get myself into the head of my original concept of the character, not who they had become over time, but maybe for some characters at least, trying to cling to past versions of themselves feels appropriate. As you play through almost a year and a half of the same characters, and as you prepare to return to some characters some of you have been playing for several years now, coming soon is Spring and Hyron. How do you change your routine to get into character, if at all? How can you think, this is them, and directs me to feel how they'd feel? Thank you, Casey. Allie, I think that you probably make the most playlists out of anyone here. Does anybody feel like they make more playlists than Allie?
I don't know. I don't think I make more, but I do make a lot of playlists.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think I might be like second or third.
I think
Okay.
we might all be on even.
I bet
playing
I bet
fields.
that I make the least. I don't.
Okay.
I sometimes don't even make one for my kid, but I have
Yeah.
other things that I do. So, you should all start.
Well, my example is that I did make a new Hella playlist this year. My first Hella playlist I made after season 1, and it was like kind of a reflection to season 1, so I could still use it for season 2. And then season 2, I was like, oh, this is such a big change that I like need to just do a new thing. Which feels like it might be the point that you're at too, which is like, okay, where do I start from plan B to like just a fresh page? Who is this person now? And like, you shouldn't feel bad about doing that. It's not like you're like letting go of this, or like you're doing it the wrong way. If you've been like playing this character for a really long time and now they're a different person, like that's kind of the point.
Yeah. It feels like you're doing it right by having a character that has changed to feel disconnected from like the idea that you had before you even started playing the character.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that Casey, it sounds like that you had that sort of like feeling, but haven't pulled the trigger on whether or not you agree with yourself or not. But I think that sounds true. I buy it. I've definitely like made a playlist and then later on felt like it was not exactly right. Happened with Gig. I made a playlist and then it turned out to not sort of fit with like like halfway through like post Miracle.
Yeah, and that would be at the point that you would be like, oh, this character has changed significantly.
Yeah.
Um,
And then instead of making a new Gig playlist, I made a playlist for the Arc Teens, which is great, and it is on my YouTube, and you can listen to it. Dre, Andy, anything?
I think like the important thing I want to say is just like make sure you're not like deleting the old stuff because one, that's really nice to go back to, but two, I find it really helpful to revisit the old stuff that I don't think like. There's a lot of stuff I do not think applies to Ephraim anymore, especially with. I can't figure out how to do the September bit and talk around stuff we've put out. So I'm just gonna like break the. So with like after what's gone on. So far
Sorry,
today-
something's happening.
Yeah, I'm going through a time hole.
You just keep saying "la le lu le lo." I don't get it.
But I still hold on to that because I want to make sure that I have that like root element of this character because that was still your starting point, and you should try and at least have like a little bit of that in there.
Instead of making a new playlist, have any of you added on to a playlist and it sort of has the entire playlist has like an arc to it, the same arc as the character?
Yeah, that was my Throndir in Winter playlist. Was that?
What did it start with, and when did you end up at?
Let me see. Let me go pull it up here. I mean, it's a lot of like sad folk and like art country because that's just Throndir. But like, I mean, the biggest thing was after. I guess spoilers for Winter and Hyron. After Throndir got turned into a vampire, I put 2 songs about vampires on that playlist.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
there you go.
Does anyone Wild Dre is
No,
finding
I put 3 songs. First, I put "Let's Get Fucked Up and Die" by Motion City Soundtrack because
my
I
God.
got fucked up and died. And then I did 2 songs about vampires.
Does anyone do anything that isn't a playlist?
I know I've only done it like once, and it was specifically because it was a thing where I was like, I need a lot of visual reference for this, but Pinterest boards I know a lot of people do and can be really helpful for figuring out a character. That was what helped me sort of figure out what I wanted to do with Worldwide Wrestling RPG for the Bluff City episode we did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like that is honestly really fun. And maybe, hey, Pinterest, you guys hear about this thing? Give that a shot, because that's also something that you can just keep adding and adding to, and it just like is named after your character. Like, at least that's what I did, and I just kept throwing things at it.
Right, and then it's like a faucet. You just scroll down, and it's like, oh, this is who this person has been this whole time.
Exactly. Yeah.
My big thing is always like, it doesn't have to be like sitting and thinking. Like, I don't want to give the impression that like before I record I just like sit in the dark and ponder. But a lot of what I end up doing that I find works really well is just like feeling, like thinking on decisions that I've made in character, and depending on how the character feels about those decisions, either feeling right or wrong. Like, I know that for the last couple episodes, a lot of what I've done before we started is like think about the stuff that Pharaoh has gone through and like, and where we're at now, and been like, yeah, that's totally the right thing that I did. and that helps get me in character. I don't know. There's some level of, I don't want to say like method, but I try to like, the way that I get in character is always to just sound like I do in my normal life talking. And I hope that comes through in the recordings, but like that's a big part of that for me, is just like thinking about how I've acted, and when Pharaoh thinks it was the right thing to do, then feeling like I did a good thing, and when he feels like it was the wrong thing to do, feeling like I did the wrong thing. and just like trying to embody those feelings of feeling either right or wrong about stuff. Pharaoh's one of the characters that does not have a playlist, by the way. That's
I would love to hear a Pharaoh playlist, but I could see why that might be difficult.
I just can't think of any music that sounds the way that Pharaoh's music would sound. Like he's just kind of I just kind almost feel like he doesn't have music for him. I don't know. It's weird.
Like finding birds singing on Spotify.
Yeah, just like ambient. It's like ambient noise. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I think we got more in here. All right, Allie, this one's for you. This is from Andrea or Andrea. I'm not positive. That could be both, right? That's how those are both spelled. Hello, friends. I'm currently playing a character who has fairly loose morals, i.e., is kind of evil. But I always find it hard to actually play into that because as a player, I get too sympathetic towards the other characters that will be affected by my character's bad choices. What are some ways of getting more into character when I'm playing a character who's really different from yourself? Thanks.
Okay. It's tough because the way that I always play, I always like, I feel like it's really kind of reactionary almost. And it's like, okay, I've set up this character. Here's how they feel about this thing or this person or the situation, whatever else. This is how they're going to act it out. And like, sometimes that's different from how a different character feels, and that's the point of what we're doing. So like it's messy. Sometimes you can feel bad about a thing, sometimes you can feel bad about characters for sure, but like that's who the character is. Just you just have to commit to it sometimes.
Anybody else
definitely like
oh sorry.
No, it's fine. I've definitely like, I mean, Keith knows for sure. Like I think the day after we killed Adelaide, I was like, I specifically messaged you and I was like, I've been crying in my break room all day because I feel like people are like really upset about this. And you were like, why would anyone be upset about that?
Yeah.
And like,
when you should have been upset about Calhoun.
I was also really upset about that. Another thing I was also really upset about. So yeah, I mean, like it sucks, but it's also like, if that's the way that you think about that character and that's, the character that you're playing, then like you're going to have a better time if you just commit to it.
Yeah. And I think this might go, my advice from the end of the last question might go to this. Like maybe just spend some time convincing yourself that you are making the right choice. Because if you have a character that's evil but is making choices that you can't rationalize to yourself, then that's maybe where you should be focusing. Because like, I guess Pharaoh's another great example. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I've seen people be like, "Why is Pharaoh doing this?" And to me, I like genuinely like, no, I totally understand why Pharaoh is doing this. I think that he's absolutely like justified in a lot of what he's doing, and like that's probably mostly because I'm playing the character in a way that I believe is justified from the beginning, but it's also probably because I sat with a lot of those choices and like went like, okay, so here's all the stuff that Pharaoh's been going through. Here's where he was a year ago, or like not a year ago. Here's where he was last season, and here's where he is now, and here's like the different ideas that he's had, and like this is why he's doing this, and it makes sense. And so like Pharaoh's not evil, and I don't really even think that he's doing stuff that you would count as evil, but he definitely is doing stuff that other characters and people listening to the show can go like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't know. Anybody else make any decisions that they had to like deal with as a player?
Yeah, Andi and Dre. Do you make any hard decisions?
I mean, yeah,
in
fucking
September?
Yeah. Hey. Shout out to that session of Twilight Mirage where it was just my character fucking doing terrible things to Andy's character.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I don't really have much to add other than to like echo your sentiments, Keith, of just trying to like make sure that you feel like like you're following what your like you internalizing your character's beliefs, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Where
Yeah.
it's like, don't be a method actor. I'm not saying that, but like at least try and get yourself in the headspace where you're just like, I'm pretending to be this person. What would
Yeah.
this person do
Well,
here?
yeah,
Yeah.
try to be evil in a way where you understand. There's a lot of evil in the world that is really difficult to understand, but there's a lot of evil where you can go like, I see why this is happening. There's like a direct line where it's like, okay, something happens. Like this person is making decisions based on who they are, and that is
Right.
evil. But like I can see it. I can see how it happened. I don't know. That's
Yeah. Oh, go on.
No, I was gonna say just to that. I guess like be really petty. Like that's such a good and that's genuinely such a good emotion to get. That like I guess I'll use the loot term, like sort of loose morals actions. Like that's how you can do that without feeling like weird about it, is convincing yourself like, well, this is just personal. This is just like this person wronged me, so it's fine that I'm doing this.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've personally obviously never done that on our show. I've never done anything just because someone wronged me and deceived me for an entire season of our show. But you know,
Yeah, no, same. I'm with Andy. Never,
Yeah.
ever
never.
done that stuff.
I haven't, literally haven't.
Oh.
Um,
So
I've never betrayed anyone.
the thing about the motivations thing is like really important for me, because I feel like that was the big hurdle that like I needed to get over to play hella successfully. Like that first like big kind of like argument or like clash or whatever that I had with Austin was like, I wasn't able to communicate the way that Hella was evil. So like with the first like Calhoun leaving him on the boat, whatever, like the way that my alignment was written and the way that I had like previously communicated it to Austin was like, he was like, well, if she's evil, she would definitely do this. And I was like, I don't believe that. Like she's an evil person, but is capable of caring about people in her life. So like being able to write like a very specific alignment there really helped me.
yeah.
And it also helped like having everybody at the table know like, okay, I'm going to be getting up to some shit, but this is sort of the, this is the way that it's going to go. So we can kind of all be on the same page there. And like, if the system that you're using has like a bond system or an alignment or like a way that you can like just clearly flag that for everybody else, just so like you can get rid of kind of the guilt of having to make those decisions like in character, will also help a lot.
Actually, just the alignments thing. You could be playing Dungeon World, so this might not apply. But if you're playing a system that doesn't have doesn't have that sort of alignment descriptor, I find that it's really helpful. Like it might be helpful to like write down what your character's like driving, like main drive is, right? Like it doesn't have to encompass everything, but it can be a thing you look at and also show your GM and be like, this is kind of like their core philosophy, and that can help
Yeah.
you guys figure that out.
Just so that we cover all our bases, also you could consider being neutral or chaotic is another thing. Like chaotic is not necessarily. I consider neutral to be more evil than chaotic. But like there's ways to be a character that has fairly loose morals without being evil.
Yeah.
And so if you think that that's a good choice for you, then you can pursue that. Final thoughts on this before we move to the last question?
Nope.
All right. This is from G. Rick. Hello, tips friends. I have a tendency to make pretty bad decisions, quote unquote, bad decisions in games. This isn't on purpose. I'm not a jerk trying to ruin games by being intentionally disruptive and claiming it's my alignment or anything like that. I'm just a real-life odd person that doesn't necessarily interact with people much anyway, so most of my social solutions are made up whole cloth, and I guess according to everyone, end up being pretty off the wall. These fit in well with somewhat loose casual games I typically play where fun can ensue due to elements of social chaos I unintentionally introduce. However, one of my groups, a group that was perhaps the most zany that I've ever played in, is trying to transition to a more serious story. I'm on board with this. I would love to tell a serious story, and I trust this group of people, but my decisions, they're still really bad. Innocent NPCs have died, the bad guys have gotten away, we've been jailed, and our reputation has been ruined in multiple communities. This isn't all my fault, but I'm playing the character who is supposed to be the voice of reason as the cleric. And too often I'm enabling or outright supporting the bad decisions of party members when I'm not making them myself. The thing is, I still feel really bad about those poor dwarves and all those other people we've hurt, even though they're pretend. Should I just swear off serious games, or is there some way to check myself that I'm missing? I ask because some of you guys make some pretty out there decisions, but seem to know when to turn it off. Just let everybody chew on that for a second.
Yeah.
I've seen all these, but I'm because I put them in the thing, but just want to
Right. Yeah.
I want people to get their gut reactions in first.
I mean, like I don't think you should swear them off. I think you might want to figure out like what you're looking for from them and like how you can have the fun that you want to have with your off the wall stuff while also making it fit the world that you and the people you're playing with are in.
Yeah, if G-Rick is here, by the way, I wish we got some examples of decisions.
Yeah.
Because it's also like I don't want to like disagree with the premise here. I don't want to like just throw out the premise. Is it possible that your decisions aren't the bad ones? Like it says right here. It says innocent NPCs have died, the bad guys have gotten away, we've been jailed, and our reputation has been ruined in multiple communities. This isn't my fault, but I'm playing a character who is supposed to be who is enabling or supporting the bad decisions of other people. So it sounds like maybe just start being the voice of reason, because it sounds like other people are trying to kill people and are getting you jailed and are ruining your reputation, and you're just not fulfilling the role of voice of reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like maybe if they're all committed to playing a more serious game, the problem will fix itself. I don't, because like G-Rick, I'm sure that you've seen movies and TV shows, or like you listen to this show, so you definitely have like experience like with stories, and so there's just some things that happen in stories to make things like I'm sure that the situations that you're in these games are not like 100% original. And require 100% original solutions.
Yeah, I think something that genuinely just might help you a little is thinking a second before your character jumps in to just be like, yeah, do that. Not in terms of like, oh, don't do it. Like, not in terms of like, oh, I don't want that to happen, but think of it in terms of, even though I want to see this happen, maybe I shouldn't say anything and just see. Because that's really fun. But two, it helps you learn to pick your spots with your outlandish stuff. And I think that's a really important skill to have, because when you know when you want to do something really off the wall, if you haven't done like 15 other things that are bouncing off that same wall, in the session, it makes it have more impact, and it also like helps with pacing.
Yeah. There's a lot I'm curious about in this situation, because like a lot of this is like the GM, obviously. A lot of this is the rest of the group. Like, because it seems like you're like doing these things, and then people react to them as if they're like, this big horrible like thing that you've done, when like that isn't your intention.
Yeah,
and,
that's
like,
a good point.
Yeah,
like, what is your
like,
GM adding to this situation? Is it possible that that your GM is adding things to the situation that is not coming from the choices you're making? Because it sounds like
right.
it sounds like they're trying to consider other people, and I don't. Maybe you're just considering them too late. Maybe it's that you've already acted before you've tried to consider them, like Andy said. But yeah, like I think that we've all. That's not true. But I think that I know that I have been in situations where like a GM has totally distorted somebody's intentions to make something crazier happen than what should have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like playing a tabletop game is a group activity. So like, it wasn't your fault that the NPCs died or the bad guys gotten away or that like you've been jailed. Like that is a group like process, and that is everyone at the table. So like if it's something where you're feeling sort of guilty about it, it can be a conversation where you're having where like, maybe I feel like I'm not communicating the right way because y'all are having reactions different to what I'm intending in these scenes or whatever else. Or it can be like, uh if your character has to be the voice of reason, like put your foot down, like
Yeah.
have fun doing that instead of being the guy who's like, oh yeah, sure, do what you want. And then also like feeling bad about the doors. Like at the end of the day, yeah, that sucked, but it was a group. You did it as a group. It wasn't just you who did that. You shouldn't swear off this.
Well, I think that you're right that you shouldn't just swear off everything that happens, but it also is like there are definitely things that I can think of from Friends at the Table where I was like, I don't like that this thing happened, and it wasn't because of me. I was there and I didn't want it to happen, and it happened. And so it is like there's a part of playing tabletop games where sometimes, hopefully proportionate to how many people are playing, like other people's things happen even if you don't want them to.
Oh yeah.
But so I don't know. What do you guys think about this as a tool? Like, if someone's reacting in a way that you didn't expect, stop the game and be like, "Oh wait, hold on, sorry. Why is this person reacting like this? Was it something that I said, or did you misunderstand me? Like, because here's what I wanted to get from this."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think like zooming in on those moments a little bit more when you feel like that's happening would be like important. But also, yeah, don't like feel guilty or like you shouldn't do this anymore because
Yeah. It's not like chess where like if you touch a piece you've got to move it. Like it's not like
Right.
if you say something and someone takes it wrong, or like you didn't notice the implications of it and something weird happens, just try stopping the game and be like, "Wait, hold on. Can you explain to me why this person is freaking out? All I asked was, whatever."
Yeah.
Anything else, anybody?
No, I like what you said
Yeah.
just now. Is I think is a really good thing.
All right, cool. So that is it. Remember that you can go to, or you can email tipsathetable@gmail.com to ask your own questions that we will get to. We do have some extra episodes coming out. I don't know if you heard, but this is September, and so we've got a little bit of extra work to do. You can also go to friendsathetable.cash. If you're listening to this, you already are there, right? That's true.
Yeah, you're aware, you're signed up, but you could tell other people about it.
Yeah, tell other people about it. I don't know if you like it. Maybe notch that thing up a little bit. Anybody else have any last plugs that they want to put in? Let's go through it one more time. Andy?
What? We don't usually do this at the end.
Hey, listen, I'm the host today, and I did a very professional job, and so we get to do what I want to
no.
do.
Yeah.
Man.
I guess my Twitter is Captain Trash, and my other show, Emoji Drome, is on iTunes and Google Play. And also, thank you for supporting our Patreon. I wanted to say thank you to them. That's
Dre?
nice.
Thank you.
You follow me on Twitter at Swansbury3000, and I will definitely echo what Andy said. Thanks everyone who supports us on Patreon.
Allie?
Yeah, so what did I want to say? Okay, so tomorrow we're probably doing a live at the table. I don't know when yet, but we're going to be playing Fiasco, and that should be fun. As Keith said, we're like behind on a bunch of stuff, and we are hoping to be completely caught up with Patreon stuff by the end of the year.
Yeah,
So,
we've been
like-
recording so much stuff the last couple of weeks, like in the mad dash to get all caught up, and a lot of that stuff is really fun and good. So I'm excited for it to all finally come out.
Yeah, the end of a season and the start of a season is a lot of work altogether. In both ways, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for there to be a little bit of a relief. We're kind of getting there, but it's also December, and Austin also just had some dental surgery, and it's like doing some more. So, but despite that, we should be caught up at the end of the year. That is our
Yeah. And
goal.
Dre and I
And
both just moved.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
very good. Thank you for supporting us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, tomorrow tune in, and then there should be another tip soon, another live soon. We're gonna try to be snappy with this, and then another mask should come out this week as well.
Another what?
Another masks.
Oh,
Another Bluff
masks. I thought you
City.
said another mass, and I was like, what? You guys
Yeah,
remember
you
when I was
were-
like, what? That was what I was like. All right, my name is Keith J. Carberry. You can find me on Twitter at Keith J. Carberry. You can watch Run Button at youtube.com/runbutton. It's got its own Patreon, contentburger.biz. And that's it. That's all there is for this show. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.
Ba-ba-ba.
Bye.